The Princess of Wales has undertaken an unusual outing, and in doing so, she highlighted one of her sister-in-law's biggest missteps. Back in the 80s, when Diana, Princess of Wales, was starting to work with HIV and AIDS sufferers, the late Queen was flummoxed. "Why," she asked the princess, "don't you get involved with something more pleasant?" It thrills me to my feminist core to report that 3 decades on, the royal family has long turned its back on pleasant or nature causes. Today, Queen Camilla is focused on domestic violence and is the patron of Nigeria's first sexual assault center, while Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, is tackling sexual assault in war zones and travels to countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Sierra Leone. On Tuesday, it was Kate, the Princess of Wales' turn to get in on the act. Did someone just yell about bloody time? As always, smash the like button and subscribe to this channel, this way you won't miss our next video in this same channel. There was the 41-year-old, clad in a frock so ladylike Emily Post would have approved, outdoing her day job of opening things while wearing pearls. This time the venue was Hope Street, a new center for women in the justice system which will allow them to remain with their children. But then Kate's visit veered off into new territory when she added a handwritten note to a tree of hope containing messages for the residents. Hers read, "I see you and am with you. Good luck in all that lies ahead. Catherine." Bells started ringing and Twitter promptly had a minor conniption. Here was the princess penning a personal, supportive note to a marginalized group of women and which ended up in the public domain. Remind you of anyone? It was only 4 short years ago, I know, it feels like about 44 years ago, that another royal WAG was doing something very similar. It was February 2019 and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, along with perpetually grinning, "Can you believe she picked me?" Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, were in Bristol. During their trip they visited 1-25, a charity that helps women escape from sex work, addiction and homelessness. Suddenly, Meghan had a brainwave. "Oh, actually, do you have a Sharpie marker?" "I have an idea," she asked, according to the Telegraph. "I saw this project this woman had started somewhere in the States on a school lunch program. On each of the bananas she wrote an affirmation, to make the kids feel really, like, empowered. Declaring 'I am in charge of the banana' messaging, and armed with a marker, the Duchess then penned 'You are special' and 'You are strong' on the phallic fruit." The press, still largely in the honeymoon phase with the American palace recruit, then proceeded to have something of a field day at her expense. Even the women the gesture was aimed at did not feel really, like, empowered. One sex worker named Nikki told The Sun at the time that it was a really stupid move. "People out here struggle to eat and sleep, and she gifts us some words on a piece of fruit. She has the means to help us more than that. It's offensive, you know," she said. No matter how sweet and genuinely well-intended a gesture the scribbling-on-the-nanas had been, instead it actually felt decidedly cringe-worthy. It felt wholly, uncomfortably American, a dolloping of over-the-top syrupy emotion that felt performative. Here was caring being done conveniently for the cameras. It might have been a spontaneous moment and an off-the-cuff idea, but instead it came across as a stunt and perhaps as a bit of a play at becoming Diana 2.0, another royal wife breaking the rules and thus winning the hearts of the people. Fast forward to this week with Kate's note, a move that in terms of the British press made about as much of a wave as a martini glass accidentally lurching off the railing of Britannia back in the day. RIP, you majestic waste of cash. Some on Twitter were quick to raise the double standard flag, while the Telegraph's royal editor Victoria Ward pointed out the resemblance between the princess and the Duchess messages. Except the 2 instances are only superficially similar. One was planned, one wasn't. One would seem to have been at the behest of the charity, one wasn't. One was a considered, intelligent note, the other written in the Instagram of trite self-empowerment. Kate was at Hope Street as part of her lifelong, she'll be at this 4 decades work trying to fundamentally shift the way Britain raises its children. Much of her focus is on the support that parents and caregivers get, thus theoretically creating happier and more emotionally well children and then adults down the track. Adults who are less likely to suffer from mental health issues, addiction, or homelessness. The Princess of Wales' early years' work has more academics involved than could fit in a crowded Oxford common room when the chocolate bourbons come out, and a host of billion-dollar global companies on board to boot. What Kate gets and Meghan didn't quite twig in her approximately hot minute on the royal clock is that for an HRH's work to be meaningful to the public, it needs to be part of a bigger picture and a bigger plan. What Diana understood, and Charles with his Prince's Trust did too, was that for the monarchy to be relevant, it could not be founded on piecemeal photo ops and well-meaning moments. It needed to stand for something and for it to play a larger and genuinely meaningful role in public life. And to achieve that takes planning, thought and time, something that the Sussexes never seem to have really applied to their Her Royal Highness careers. It was only a scant 20 months between their wedding and their hasty dash for the exit, during which time Meghan was pregnant and then on maternity leave. If only they had given it a bit longer, if they had found a way to hold on and to not decide to throw their toys out of the pram. If only Harry had twigged that his biggest success, the heads together mental health work he had done with brother Prince William and Kate and his Invictus Games, were proof positive of this very fact. Deliberate, structured and well thought out projects designed to have a longer-term impact were the very things that had taken Harry's reputation from Mayfair hair-trigger tempered party boy to adored, highly respected royal worker. Back then the Duke vied with his grandmother the late Queen for the #1 spot when it came to the UK's most liked Windsor. What Kate and 125's Nikki both know is that tokenistic gestures from royalty will only backfire and be seen for what they are, even if hearts are in the right place. Big picture pitching in to change things practically and tangibly are what matters. Ironically, the women Meghan intended to uplift with her banana messaging never actually got to read them. A week after that outing in 2019, The Sun revealed that the fruit had instead been used for cakes, because more women could have a share. And what the late Queen must have thought of this perishable fruit maneuver, well, do we really think it was pleasant? Remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell, this way you will be notified when next we drop a report video in this same channel.